What's going on, everyone? So some of you have wanted me to break down Bruno Fernando and if he makes sense for the Los Angeles Lakers, so let's dive into it. For those that aren't familiar with Bruno Fernando, he's 25 years old. He'll be 26 on the 15th of August. This is a guy, 6'10", 6'11", 240 pounds. So he's not this like huge, big bruiser type center, but he is a guy that, has some weight behind him. He's not a true 7-footer, which a lot of people really want the Lakers to get like a legit 7-footer, somewhere in the 250, 260 range, right, for the matchup against like the Jokic's, the Embiids of the world. But Bruno Fernando, on the surface, he's a quality rebounder, guy that can go and rebound the basketball. As far as scoring and shooting and things in that nature, he is basically non-existent on the three-point side of things. He doesn't take attempts, period. The closest he took to a full attempt a game was with Atlanta in 2019-2020, in which he took 0.7 attempts. So this is a guy that he doesn't shoot the three ball at all. Now, from the foul line, because that's usually a good indication, right? Like, can this guy actually make an impact shooting the basketball to be able to stretch the floor slightly? Now, last year on 2.1 attempts, which is the most attempts of his career, he shot 66.7%, so basically 67% from the foul line. So again, this is a guy that is essentially a non-shooter, a non-factor in that regard, but he is somebody that when he is around the rim can go and get you a bucket. It's a guy that is, 60% from the field, from 2-point range. He's got good size, good athleticism, good foot speed. This guy that can be a floor running big. He's got more weight on him than a Jackson Hayes does, right? So he's a guy that, can just be a little more physical. He also plays more physical than Jackson Hayes does. This is a guy that in limited minutes, even last year with the Atlanta Hawks, he played in 45 games, started 2 games, averaged 15.2 minutes, and averaged 6 points and 4 rebounds with a steal and a block, or half a steal, half a block. It was 0.6 in each. Now, if you translate that, right, this is a guy that could get you basically a double-double with the steal and a block. He's got good instincts on the defensive side of things. Now, of course, the immediate thought process is, if this guy is good, right, then why would the Atlanta Hawks decide to just waive him, release him, let him go? Because a couple reasons. One, he is still very raw. He would be a bit of a project center. He's not a guy that's going to come in and solve the Lakers' problems at the center position, at least in my opinion. I even think that there's an argument you're better off just keeping Jackson Hayes over going and bringing a guy like Bruno. Now, it's worth noting, Lakers can't even bring in Bruno, even if they wanted to, because they have to free up roster spots. So this would be more so like, hey, we need another piece, right? Now, if you were to unload Jackson Hayes, then sure, I have no problems with you bringing in Bruno, seeing what he can provide for you. But as far as the other reason is, Atlanta just doesn't really have a need for him right now. They're still trying to figure out what they're going to do with Clint Capella. They're going to try to trade him. On top of, Clint Capella, they have Guai, as in Mohamed Guai. They also have Okuagu, or however you say his name. I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head. So it's like, I know it's like, it's Okagu. But he's their young power forward center that they want to play in a bigger role. So you basically got those two guys that are similar size, similar strengths to Bruno. That those are the guys that they want to kind of get an opportunity to play the forward spots and the center position for the Atlanta Hawks this upcoming season, right? So again, there's just not really the space for Bruno. He's not a guy that has the long-term upside that some of these guys have, because the other two guys that I mentioned, one is 21, the other one is like 23, 24. So you're talking about two guys that just, again, you could have them develop the next 3-4 years and they'd be the age, or they'd still be younger than Bruno. Now, again, the Lakers, they need a center. And I don't buy Bruno as like the answer to that problem. Is if you just need an extra body just to have like a third big, sure, bring him in. But I'd almost personally prefer to go with Colin Castleton than Bruno, personally. I just think like you're better off. He's just bigger, right? He's more skilled and he's slightly younger. So I'd rather just give him the opportunity. You look at, like a Wendell Carter Jr. or Walker Kessler, like one of these guys, I'd prefer, I want somebody that still has upside and potential, but also is somebody that can just make an immediate impact, right? Because again, Bruno is a guy that he's not a guy that you can just plug in and start right out the gate, right? You look at somebody like a Wendell Carter Jr., who's the same age. He's actually he's younger, slightly, but he's a guy that you can start at the center position. Walker Kessler, same thing. He's like 3 years younger, but again, a guy that you can start at the center position, right? Like Bruno, I just don't see as a guy that you're going to start. I mean, could you? Sure, but I don't think that that's the best course of action and the best decision that you'd want to do. Personally, I think if you're looking for an answer at the center position, I think that a trade is the best course of action. You have to do a trade regardless. Now, again, let's say you trade for Wendell Carter Jr., right? And then on top of trading for Wendell Carter Jr., you ship out Jackson Hayes. Then sure, I guess you could bring in Bruno, right? Maybe bring him in as like that other third big off the bench. But even then, again, I kind of just lean towards Colin Castleton. I'd rather have Castleton. Although I will say that Bruno is more physical, right? Which could be the difference. Like, Bruno is a guy that, like, Colin Castleton, and my concern with Castleton is he just plays so soft at times. And the physicality is just so much greater in the NBA than it is in like the G League and even Summer League. And you saw him kind of have his struggles just being physical on just the stage that is the Summer League, right? Where Bruno, I don't think you'd have those issues with the physicality, right? I think that you'd be fine in that regard. But I even think that there's an argument to bring in Mo, because he at least played with the Summer League team. And then he's a guy that is actually a true 7-footer. He's got like a 7'4" wingspan, just a better rebounder and shot blocker. If the Lakers brought in Bruno, sure. But it's personally not something that I think is anywhere close to the answer for the Lakers at the center position, or even necessarily a backup center position. I just think that there's better options out there on the market for a development big. I think, again, you're almost better off just going with the Colin Castleton and just giving him an opportunity and him to run. And even just Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes is younger, has a lot of similarities, but I just think Jackson Hayes is just more versatile and has just more upside and potential personally. Again, if the Lakers were to bring him in, I'll support him. I'll be hyped on him, right? We'll break him down a little more and kind of break down where he kind of fits. But I think even if the Lakers did get him, I don't see him playing very many minutes, if at all. Unless, like Anthony Davis misses a game or something. It's like, we'll start Jackson Hayes and you throw in Bruno. Right? If you're looking for Bruno to be your answer at the center position for the Lakers, he's not the answer. Right? You need somebody via the trade market. And I think Colin Castleton, I would almost feel better with in that position. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think that, hey, Bruno, you got to bring him in, at least give him an opportunity. Let's see what he can do. Do you think, no, I agree, he's not the answer. He's not anything in that regard. I just got several comments from several people that wanted me to break down and discuss Bruno Fernando. And so I figured, why not? Let's talk about it, right? It's what this is about, right? We're all here to just have fun conversations, have discussions, and, just hopefully learn a little bit, right? But I'm not, personally, I just don't think that he's the answer at the center position. I think, even as a development big, like I said, he's going to be 26. How long can you develop him for? You develop him for another 2-3 years. He's almost 30, right? When he's in, it usually takes a guy a year or two in the league to really kind of hit their full stride, right? So you're talking by the time he's actually ready to make a significant impact and be the best version of a player he can be, he's probably on the wrong side of 30. But, we'll see. Again, you never know, right? Some people look, like they're not going to be anything, and then, they go to the right situation, the right environment, all of a sudden, boom, they're a real impact player. So, we'll see. But anyway, again, how you feel, whatever your thoughts are. I love to hear. Let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.